Leona into the Trundle is odd.
Yeah. I guess maybe they're a little concerned about, like... You know, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And like we know Score is like he played in the Trundle jungle meta. Like he knows exactly what's going on. So it's look, I find it weird. They just kind of ignored Sponge.
They just don't care. They just we want to engage. You know, we have the lockdown. We'll just kill them anyway. And I think overall, you know, KT, I think the first three pretty strong. I think you know, they denied the Alistar, they denied the Senna, which I think could have given them some problems. They have the Jhin Leona, which is a lot of setup for the rest of the team. I think they have a pretty solid draft with what they came through here. But you read a lot now?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the time. Every time there's a pop-up book. Let's get into the game. However, they just haven't achieved their goal.
It just makes you think, though, that massive win streak they had, some of the teams they took down, how important that was to even have chances.
Yeah, true.
Have a chance now. No, he's got to step up and do something crazy. Oh.
Okay, Cuz is moving in, looking for an angle here as LazyFeel immediately going to cleanse. Maybe a little bit early, but there's the flash forward from Doctor on the dancing grenade as Andil is held in position. And even BDD is down here. He might even be able to grab himself the kill. As there it is, the threaded volley comes down, takes 2 turret shots for his trouble, but that is first blood to KT. Now Perfect, seeing whether he can survive. Great flash to get himself out of the way of Sponge. Still there's a big minion wave though, and I don't know whether the Gwen is completely out of the woods. However, that bit of damage against Rich may have done it. So some survival for KT, but first blood for them on the other side of the map.
Yeah, really.
And still, more pressure does come in. There is the Gnar. Off the back of the crush is gorgeous as Perfect. Getting a bunch of health back, but isn't going to be able to make that one work as Sponge tanks up the turret. One last shot would have done it, but it doesn't actually come through, and he gets out pretty comfortably. Wow. That is confidence right there. You love to see it. I don't think that there are pluses and minuses in binary.
So it's just, there's just no...
Unless you're doing binary math.
Yeah.
And it is pretty cool. All right, there's a seismic shove. Sponge demonstrating how cool the Trundle is as he dies. Unfortunately, Subjugate not going to be helping him out there. Down those feats of strength as Yahoo flashes right on the edge, but the slow's still going to catch him. Emperor's Divide does absolutely nothing, and there it is, your feats of warfare going over to KT.
Yeah, which,
but I mean, he did use 100% of his health bar. Sponge and Cuz just doing battle. Seismic Shove is there, and maybe this matchup is fine for the Xin Zhao if there is always a Talia to back him up.
Not having a good time.
All right, flash out of the way here from Perfect. It looked kind of cute, but in the end, Rich just gets a flash.
BDD's coming, though. Rich is low in HP, no Mega Gnar.
Oh, dear. Well, BDD is just going to walk in. Perfect could be in a little bit of trouble. He is dead. That is still the kill going over to BDD. BDD, to be perfectly honest. Because we always talk about his Azir, but his Talia has always been phenomenal. As Peter tries to get over that wall. Oh. Seismic Shove, Solar Flare, everything in the kitchen sink, and Andel's dead.
That was slick. That was pretty nice from Peter there. Following up with the CC on the back end with the ult.
And they got a decent trade. Got the cannon. That's the main thing. All right, no one actually going to hop in the Rift Herald this time around as Doctorm also starting to do a fair bit of damage, and LazyFeel going to get tagged. In goes Cuz and just obliterates him. Sponge trying to get himself out of the way, and now the curtains have been called. And the answer is, I'm leaving, I guess. Sponge going to be able to flash to get himself out of the way. Flash for ult, you'll take that as another seismic shove, of course, is going to land. Rich, what are we doing there? I'm not entirely sure, maybe going for a little bit of a flank angle here, but now there is nowhere safe on the map for DRX.
It's just yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you were desking as well.
Yeah.
You had to wear those sunglasses at the same time. Got a bit of a dive here onto Perfect, who flashes out of the way of the Gnar. The needlework is doing so much, and the Deadly Flourish, not so much. As Sponge takes so much damage here from Doctorm, who's just going to try and stand his ground. And stand his ground he does. Cuz comes on over. What the hell is this Xin Zhao damage?
The fact that this is able to happen, a little bit criminal from KT.
Yeah.
Because it is actually a massive influx of gold for DRX.
Yeah.
Like Peter...
They really didn't care about it.
Ultim, get the resist. I want to see it.
Yep. Well, he doesn't really need to. A seismic shove just going to throw him away. Peter is still trying to walk it off. Gets a big old shield, but he is still dead. Well, KT are probably not going to be fighting for this dragon. Seismic.
Oh no, they are. They are.
They certainly are. Deadly Flourish holds Andal in position. Andal was going for a flank. Little did he know, instead he was going to just die. And now the curtains have been called. Emperor's Divide just to try and get rid of Cuz, who is immortal. quite actually, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect going to get his revenge as it's a triple, make it a quadra for BDD. He just needs one more as Rich throws them against the wall. He really doesn't want BDD to pick this one up as Doctom's tanking the turret. They're chasing him down. They need to tag him. The Deadly Flourish needs to land. It's a seismic shove that connects and BDD gets the Penta. Well, sort of. It doesn't get announced, but we'll give it to him in spirit.
Andal being very low level doesn't count as a Penta. A little bit sad for BDD. Yeah, and also, Rich surviving so long.
Oh, Penta?
We're going to see the reaction. He's calling for the Penta.
Yep. And he just flashes on top of him.
펜타 줄 사람. 몸대 안 줘도 돼.
Can anyone give me a Penta, please?
W 몇 초?
Yeah, when's your W? Please, 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 land it, land it, land it. That was a nice shove. Didn't matter. A little bit too late. All right, Deadly Flourish not going to connect there onto Sponge, but Sponge, I don't think, going to get anywhere near this Baron, which is going down very, very quickly.
Oh, Yahoo!
Okay, Yahoo does find an angle here onto Doctom, who does get stabbed. The Baron is probably going to go down as Peter's just trying to keep Yahoo out of that pit. Oh, doesn't quite get in there. BDD trying to kite them out as well as Sponge making his way in because the raid boss himself is going to try and protect his last remaining carry. That's BDD who flashes towards Sponge. Double kill, make it a triple here for Perfect. Is it his turn for a Penta, ladies and gentlemen? As LazyFeel flashing out of the way, but Perfect is just going to skip after him, run him with Penta. Dangerous. And his Penta is right here, going back to base.
Yeah, BDD's looking, I don't think Perfect is as bothered.
Oh, he doesn't choose the right path. In the meantime, the Elder has been started. Let's have a look at what's going to happen here as Sponges gets slowed down, zoned out of the pit. That's going to go to KT. Emperor's Divide goes wide. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme, nor did the Leona mean to go down, but she did. It's going to be the trade, though, as now Yahoo could be in a little bit of trouble. Rich held in position. Seismic Shove throws him away as the big angry dragon that is BDD will take down his opposite number. Perfect also getting a little bit of dopamine after things were not going so well. And KT, I think you're going to look towards time traveling into game number 2 pretty quickly here with these Nexus turrets next to go down.
Yeah, well, it took a little bit longer to get this game finished. I think KT very confident in this game, though, in the outcome. DRX tried to...
In the end, Perfect had the biggest gold advantage, by the way. I will have you know, he gwenned extraordinarily hard. It was a very close series. BDD, unbelievable. No notes as far as the Taliyah was concerned, and I think DRX probably going to be looking at that saying, could we have stopped him from picking Taliyah? And the answer is yes. You really could have. It was a first pick Gwen. They got it in the 3rd round. So maybe next time, a little bit more consideration for some of the power picks here on the side of KT, and DRX might be... Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. He does want the mobility to get out of the way of things like trains and stuff like that that are going to be running towards him, but the Poppy is going to be a bit of a headache for Peter.
Poppy,
I don't think this is...
Victor.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this is a better look for DRX. I think they've utilized blue side pretty effectively here. And KT, let's see whether they can make it work. I do like the draft on paper, right? Like, I'm looking at it, but I'm seeing the Poppy value, the fact that the late game is where KT kind of want to go, and DRX looking pretty comfortable in that location themselves. Yep. Rich on a lot of comfort here on the Scion as well. Can do it one more time, get that 2-0 that they are really looking for here today.
But I think Ornn can just like bellow the breath you after a while.
Well, that's a nice little hook there. It's going to be the Piercing Darkness though.
That's the matchup we're looking for.
Well, this is not the matchup that Cuz is looking for. He's just going to get heroically charged into the wall. And yeah, has to flash. I actually respect the flash usage instead of just trying to worry a Trickster away. Could have been blocked by a Steadfast Presence. Just gets himself out of there.
This is in a great position. We do see Sponge looking to contest these grubs.
Yeah, just wanders on in. Going to try and take these down. DRX do manage to get a secure onto one of them. Exactly right. Now does have his smite on cooldown, as here is a hook connecting from Andil. As LazyFeel dashing after Doctom, he really wants to hold on to the flash. Is going to utilize the barrier, but that's all he has to expend. That is good news. One apiece as far as these grubs are concerned, because we'll be able to get the second one. So that is going to be an evening out of the objective feats of strength. KT, I don't think they're going to give this up without a fight. As LazyField now in a lot of trouble. Stunned over that wall, Doctom holding him at bay. Now there's only one big damage dealer available, and Yehu is on top of a ward right now. So is Cuz. There's now Peter going in for the world's slowest charm, but they get on top of their target. The Dawning Shadow comes down as well. And with the help of the Spirit Rush, Cuz is able to take down the Victor. The damage is just not here. LazyField has to get out of there. The train crashes into a wall, and the Flash Charm from BDD will seal the deal against Rich. The zombie form comes on through, and KT even get the dragon.
미안, 형. 미안.
Wait, what did he steal? Did he steal a kill?
He seemed shocked himself.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine, Peter. Don't you worry about it. Cuz testing Sponge there to see whether the steadfast presence button was being hovered.
Yeah, reaction test.
Yeah.
But now means it's down. Peter could just...
Yeah, walk at him.
Yeah, it doesn't opt to.
Still, Doctom. Depth Charge actually comes out, but there's the Cyclone in answer. Andal, no real response here as LazyField just gets jumped on by Peter. He's got the quickness running as Sponge just shuts him down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Yehu in a lot of trouble, but he's answering back. The Arcane Storm doing so much work, and it's a double here for LazyField as he gets himself out as well. He's looking to go back home. BDD running out of buttons, and Sponge gets on top of him and eliminates him. The Ram coming on through, though. That's a great knock-up, but where's the follow-up? Where are the options? And DRX, it's their turn to find a good team fight.
Much more scattered.
KT move on over. This dragon has been started up. Yehu on the bottom side of this fight. Doctom getting flanked by Rich. Does need to keep himself a little bit safe here as this dragon taking a very long time to go down. LazyField finally getting some damage in there, and Sponge just throws down the smite. Andal could be in trouble though, throws the anchor into Narnia. And the Nautilus is unfortunately just going to get slowed down, thrown into the pit, and will get destroyed. Sponge now in a little bit of trouble at the same time as the Keeper's Verdict is in. The Ornn is going to be removed. The Flash actually, and then on top of it, is a little bit problematic, but the Charm is going to connect. A double kill here for Cuz. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This time it's KT's turn to win a team fight, but they do lose out on the objective. They do finally get a ward over. They do see that this is going down. They teleport in from the Scion. The Poppy is still making her way back in.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, KT, I think they realize the amount of danger that they're in, but now the Ornn is going to be sounded. Rich, moving on forward, finds the crash. That is going to be Cuz locking down the Otacon as Peter just holding them in place. The Dawning Shadow goes down. BDD flashes over the wall, and LazyField is able to shut him down. Now Cuz with a blast cone for safety, and the Extendo Beam not going to be enough to take down the Wukong, so they'll trade the Otacon for the Ahri, and maybe that's okay for KT.
Yeah, just one casualty.
As BDD, okay, Sponge. That's a bit of an odd situation there as BDD moves away from the wall. That's smart as the Charm comes through. They invest a fair bit, but Andal will be going down here. They want to get the kill over to Doctom, and successfully they will be able to do so.
And the Herald in return.
Yeah, so it's an okay trade here for DRX.
Yeah, I love how Cuz is trying to convince Rich that he does damage. He's like, no, I'm 5-0, I'm really fed. And Rich is like, sure, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Going in just to get a cheeky Q onto Andal here as Sponge was moving over, looking to try and get a bit of vision around this Baron that has freshly spawned 10 seconds ago. There is a snare to come in. He does get rid of a couple of the members of KT. Sponge just on his own adventure here as the rest of the team nowhere in sight.
No, he just built his own randoms.
No, he built his own randoms, but he gave them edge
yeah. He knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. Come on. Cuz is right there. Give it over.
Cleaver, sorry.
I want to see it. The animation.
All right, well, Sponge taking a fair bit of damage here. Cuz's Q, actually, he can be pretty tanky, and he will still cut through you. As there's the knockup from Rich over the wall. Bit of a fight breaking out, though, on the other side as Peter is just about to get 100-0, but so is Sponge. Him going down is such a big deal as they're all just piling on top of LazyField. There was no one there to peel because Rich is just a lumbering train, and he is just going to get taken down. DRX eventually getting outmaneuvered here in this game by KT. And Peter, he is able to dash out of the way of that zombie as well as Andal and Yehu wondering what the heck they're supposed to do now.
Wait.
Wait, no, he started and then got interrupted by Baron, I think.
Just give them out.
It's a shame.
Please.
They were kind of spread, right? To be able to say, like, you take care of these two, we'll find this fight over here. It was beautifully done as once again Andal caught out of position. Peter having a bit of a day out on this Rakan, I have to say, as the train is just going to join the fight, but so is the Ram. Will get interrupted, so Sponge going to deny the extra knockback, but oh god, he is not going to last very long. Rich also getting cut down by Doctom's Molten Cleaver, and he is turned into a zombie because going to respawn because of course he's got a GA. That's like 17 items that he's built for himself. This Wukong is so rich. He's making aiming look like he doesn't have enough money.
Max, he did it. He gave them all out.
Oh,
Everyone's
thank
got them.
God. Okay. The Rod of Eons has been completed here for BDD as they time travel forward towards a 2-0 victory. KT fans not breathing a sigh of relief just yet, as the Nexus hasn't gone down, we have to say. The flash forward from BDD doesn't quite find the charm there, as Andal able to get out of the way of this Ahri, but the Nexus turrets are the targets here. The knockup's coming on through. KT from strength to strength towards the end of this particular round robin. Is it gonna be enough? That is the question. There he is.
And D+, it's their fate in their hands. They need to make the statement. It might come down to a tiebreaker. It might not.
That's a range advantage that you can see right there, doing double damage of Azeri.
Range is OP. It is very powerful.
It is. As BDD is going to pick it up, I assume that was where your vote was. The 10-0-8 Talia probably justifies pushing it over the line no matter what happens with the Ahri performance, because his Talia was just everywhere.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Steer for the POM interview translation. We are here with BDD on the side of KT Rolster. Congratulations! Thank you. And today was a must-win to join the Legend group. With a 2-0 clean victory, how do you feel? So we had to secure that 2-0 victory, and I'm just really relieved that we were able to pull it off. And you are at 500 POM points, tied for third place. And all the players did so well, so did you expect to get a POM today? No, rather than getting a POM, I was more desperate for a 2-0 victory, so... Yeah, your fans must be so happy to see you on the stage for this POM interview after your performance. And in Game 1, you were able to secure a handful of high prio picks. After the Gwen blind pick, you guys took Talia and Xin Zhao. So what did you think? Did you think that the draft went your way? No, the enemy had prepared the Trundle and Azir picks. And I think with all the options that we had left, being plenty, I felt like the draft did go our way and as planned. And right now, actually, Azir is on a 7-loss streak. So do you think Azir is better? Or Talia is better than Azir currently? I do feel like right now you don't really see a lot of Azir being able to pull off a good tempo in the game, so I think that's why we're able to see that there are other prio picks over Azir. In Game 1, we were so close to seeing your pentakill, and you said you guys don't have to give it, and just be honest, were you sad that you didn't get the pentakill? Yeah, honestly, I was sad. And Peter actually stole your kill, and he was so sorry. So how did you react? You know, I was actually pretty pouty after he stole my kill. I did feel pretty sad. It was a little upsetting. And in Game 2, we got an Ahri Victor matchup. What are your thoughts on this matchup? I feel like Ahri doesn't have a lot she can do in this matchup, and she needs a lot of support from the teammates. So with the support of my team setting up for me, I think I was able to really perform and carry out my role. And now, depending on the result of Nongshim versus D+Kia's match, KT's fate will be sealed. And if Nongshim wins, KT will head over to Legend Group. So, what mindset will you be spectating with? Well, first of all, you know, there's Legend group and Rise group. And, you know, I really want to make it to Legend group. So, Shiwoo, Lehans, please do it for me. And so, will you be cheering for Nongshim then? Yes, I will definitely be supporting Nongshim.
이렇게 오늘 2대0 완벽한 승리를 가져간 KT 롤스터의 BDD 선수와 인터뷰 나눠봤습니다. 오늘 승리
And
다시
that's the
한번
end of the
축하드립니다.
interview with BDD. Congratulations once again and back to the space. Thank you.